Well, nothing dramatic today. No big jobs or projects, a little bit of tidying up to do. I've got my old compost heap down here to tend to. I'm starting to create a new compost heap, and the tractor's going to help me there. I've got to clean up the last of the previous compost and get it into the raised garden beds, which are starting to bed down, and then build up the new one. So we'll get moving and see what turns up. Just head on down here to the side of the compost and see what we can clean up today. It's a nice, potentially very hot day today as we enter into the new year. Well, this is the site of my compost heap. As you can see, with the spring and summer coming on, the rate of growth of grass around it has been rather extraordinary and painful. So I have added some material to the compost heap here, but it hasn't been mixed as yet. There's all sorts of stuff in there. I've also been sifting dirt here on this rack to get out all the stones and rocks and things and twigs that are here. I got this from a very old deserted bush turkey nest, so it's in itself was a compost heap. I did get in here and sift a couple of bucket loads from the loader, and I don't know if you can notice there how it's all been dug out, but the bush turkeys got in amongst it and scratched it out looking for any goodies. So I've got to shovel all that back in again. Once I've done a couple more loads of this here, I will add that to the compost heap as well. This is the remnants of the last load of wood chipping that I've done, and of course this is what I start with. These are all the upper branches and things from the previous land clearing we did. In a couple of videos showing the excavator tearing down all the dead trees, and they will be eventually chipped into a heap here as well. These chips are starting to break down a little bit, so they'll be usable to put into the compost heap with a bit of chicken manure as well. Now over here by the raised garden beds, I've got this black plastic and rocks and things here was where I was dumping the prepared compost for use in the garden beds. There is surprisingly still a lot of usable compost around the edge of this, so I have to dig it all out and lay it out on the black plastic here, so I can separate the grass from it and throw up into the garden beds. And then once the compost is prepared, it will go into these garden beds, which are finished growing at the moment, and we'll get them back up to that level again, full up, because we've already done this about 3 or 4 times as the logs in the bottom and the chips and compost all settles and decomposes, and then we'll get it all back up and running again. We're getting a nice little boost of watermelon and stuff here, so that's going quite berserk. Yeah, so it's time to get stuck into it. As much as I don't particularly relish rummaging around in this sort of heat in the summertime, it's a good day to do it. Otherwise it's raining and boggy. So we'll get ourselves organised and tidy up this old heap in the black plastic first. So we'll start here with try and get all this compost out of here and back on the compost heap. We'll throw a few of these weights down here. These are all basalt, or a lot of it is basalt. This I call it volcano spit from the local extinct volcano. But I'm going to lay out this plastic and put the dirt on top of it so we can then transfer it into the bed. Oh dear. I've had a bit of a cold lately, so you'll have to excuse me if I cough and splutter a little. So, yeah, that'll get things going. Got a few cane toads here, running left, right and centre. We'll have to deal with them. Lovely pests introduced from South America. What have we got here? Bit of rubbish. We'll have to go. Right, better go and get a shovel. Okay, there's a couple of shovels for tidying up the loose bits, but first we better jump on and see what we can rake up with the loader. So there we go again. Sometimes it's just impossible to see what's happening up the front of the loader. I mean, you are totally blind to the cutting edge. A bit more experience might do it for many, but quite often, as you might have seen then, the front wheels went up a hump and lifted the loader lip off the edge, and hence I got nothing. I think that's about as much as I'll get with the bucket. I'll have to go and resort to the shovel now. Let's see what we can rake up manually and how long it'll last. Then comes the fun part, sorting out all the grass. And then I can put the plastic back down and put the next load of usable compost on here. Now comes the fun part. I mean, some of this green stuff's okay, but I don't want loads of grass roots and things in there. Looks like most of it here is not too bad. It's when I start transferring it and I get down to the lower stuff, there might be a few more bits and pieces of grass root, things like that. This will be ongoing, of course. Yeah, nothing quite like it. Eating the ground. Alright, that'll do for now. I'll get that up into the raised garden beds now. If I can. So next step, I just get a drink of water first. Alright, we'll have a go. It's a bit hard to pick this up without dragging the plastic too. So we'll see. There we go. Okay. We'll get this load into this garden bed. Bit of a start. I'm going to need another load in that bed at least, and then several more for the rest of it. So this is going to be an ongoing project. Yeah, and this is going to be an ongoing project too with the weeds, particularly the grass. This local grass, the Soteria, is particularly aggressive and grows in big dirty clumps sort of thing. I've poured out all this old bits of fibro broken up here too. Look at that. There's a nice big batch. Hello, found somebody's spoon. Huh. Wonder who owns that. Well, this is the huff and puff start part of the game. Got to get all this back into there. Without picking up the grass and without picking up any plastic. Alright. Let's get this last little bit in. And then I don't think it'll be enough for this bed, but we'll I don't know about you, but I've sort of had enough for a little while. The heat's starting to get to me. I'll go and consume some water. Well, first thing before we get started is probably to disconnect my dump trailer from behind the tractor. Just got to disconnect these hydraulic hoses for the ram and get it off the back so I can get it around into the workshop to start work on this new grille protection. Well, we've got a new project to start now on the tractor. One of the things that has concerned me for some time has been the danger of sticks coming in or branches coming in and breaking the grille on the tractor. So the idea is now to put some expanded mesh across the front here. I've got to cut it and bend it to shape and size, and that should give us a bit of protection. The ironic part about it is that the day I ordered this, I punched a branch into my grill and broke the plastic, so I think I can sort of take the badge off and move it back into place. But yeah, that's the way it goes, isn't it? So the next step is to maybe make a template up out of cardboard and then cut this to shape and size, give it a bit of a bend and put some brackets on it and see how we go. It shouldn't be too bad. So what I'm going to do is just tape this onto the front of the bar here and then mark it so that I can get a good idea of where to cut it. So it shouldn't be too hard, so we'll try and do that now. Marking the template takes a little bit extra time, but it should save me a bit of time overall and possibly be a little more accurate. So we'll use our pen here to mark up the inside of the cardboard. That's the way. Yeah, that should do it. Well, having marked out the and cut out the cardboard to suit, I think I'll just mark out the edges of the cardboard on the steel, so I'll know where to cut. And I'll just cut it off with an angle grinder. Be the fastest way to do it, because it's a bit heavier gauge metal than I anticipated. I was after 3mm mesh, but almost impossible to get around my area. So we're making do here with what looks like about 4mm. But yeah, so that's the process at the moment. Yeah. All right, let's have a go. Okay, that lot's done. Let's try it. Give it a try on the tractor. See if we got it right. Alright, let's see if we did it right, or if we got to trim it a bit. So I think about there, and then I'll bend it in the middle. Yep. I think we're sort of homing in. Maybe a touch more off the bottom here. Yeah, a little bit off the bottom. Then all I got to do is bend it through the middle there and get it to sit in there and weld some brackets onto it. Next step. Now let's drop a couple of clamps on here just to hold it all nice and steady. Right, that should do. Let's see if we can give it a heave-ho if I'm heavy enough. Oh yes, this is pretty soft stuff, so I think that'll be work fairly well. Well, that's just about got it all zip tied on, roughly where I want it, and all I got to do is make some little brackets to attach it to the sidebars. I think I'll just drill, make it a little L bracket and just drill and tap them and just bolt it on. That way if it gets bent I can take it off fairly easily. The bottom one I think I'll bolt straight into the hinge bolt here, and that'll tidy it up nicely, and then when it's all bolted up it should be a lot stronger and we won't get any more stabs between the eyes. But, yep, that's the next one. Make a whole batch of little L bracket. Two more brackets for the bottom. Now what we've got to do is drill a few holes for those little brackets. I found some angle iron in my scraps bin, and they'll do nicely. I've got these little brackets that I make up. I'm going to bolt on the inside there. So what we're going to do is now is run some taps, threads in there. Another one here. And the same on the other side in a minute. And we've just got to run a thread down there with a tap if we can. And get it straight would be a good start. Yeah. Yes, running the first little bit of thread is always the tricky bit. you start cutting into it crooked, it can get rather embarrassing. These are an 8mm thread, and mainly because I have hundreds and hundreds of 8mm bolts, so that's a very good reason. Don't have to go and buy anything. That's why I don't throw anything away. So I can just go over to my bits and pieces sections, and we'll just oops, yeah, grab whatever I need whenever I need it. There we go. That should do. Lift the bolt out just to check. Yep. Lovely. I just got to do 6 of those now. Next little bit we've got to do here, this little bit that we are about to start, is just putting these brackets. I've made up some little L brackets out of scraps of angle iron. Put those on the side here and tighten them up so that I can then weld the plates to the mesh. So it might be good if I get them in the right spot. Hang on. So we want number 2 and number 3. There we go. I've marked each one individually because to try and line up with some of the points on the mesh so that I can get a good weld onto them. Now, what we got to do, that should get that done. I'll just tighten them up. Okay, that's got that bit done. Now what I want to do now is get some clamps underneath there and make sure I've got everything spot on, double check everything, and then start tacking the welds onto these tabs here, and then I can turn it over and do proper welds on the other side, then take it all off and put some zinc coating on them to protect the brackets, etc. Alright, now we start just putting a tack on each one of these and then turn it over and do it properly. We'll see how we go with this. Got a few odd little gaps here because they're really wobbly things. Of course, welding onto heavy galvanizing doesn't help either. It produces quite a few fumes and things which are really bad. When I start welding properly, I'll put my exhaust fan on. Now to turn it over. Oh. Well, I hope I haven't welded it to the frame, but I think it's right. Boy, there's some gaps here I've got to fill. Okay, now all we have to do is take it off now so I can clean it up and put some zinc paint on all these sections, all the welds. I'm probably going to get some hot bolts too. Ouch! Right. Right, last one. Ah, that's a hot bolt. Okay. Now, theoretically, there we go. Isn't that nice? I did not weld the brackets to the front guard. All right, all welded up, everything now. Next step is to get a bit of zinc on it, stop it from rusting. I'm not going to breathe this stuff in. Might get a bit of noise from the exhaust fan, but here we go. turn the fan round the other way. We're mostly going up and down. We'll give that a little while to settle down, then put a second coat on it. That should be just about done. We have the finished result. It may look a little agricultural, but it is. It's a tractor. But yeah, that's going to give me a lot more protection to the grill there, sort of thing. I had a stick come through, right through there, and put a hole in the plastic grill the day before I got the steel mesh. So, right, not no more.